Okay, so try something for me. Put your phone down. No music, no video, nothing. Just sit. Don't time it. Don't make it a challenge. Just sit. How long before something feels off? For most people, it's under a minute, sometimes under 30 seconds. The hand moves toward the phone almost before the thought forms, not because you decided to reach for it, just because the silence felt like something that needed fixing. I've thought about that reflex a lot, because it doesn't feel like a choice when it happens. It feels automatic, like your body already knew what to do before your brain caught up. And that's actually the most interesting part of it. Here's what people usually think boredom is: emptiness, the absence of something, a gap that needs filling. And so they fill it, immediately, instinctively, without really deciding to. But that framing misses something important, because boredom isn't actually empty. It just feels empty compared to what your brain has learned to expect. And that distinction between actually empty and just quieter than expected, that's the whole thing. Your brain has a threshold, a running sense of how much should be happening right now, how fast things should move, how often something new should appear, how quickly a reward should arrive. And that threshold isn't fixed. It learned itself over years, not months, years of living inside one of the most stimulation-dense environments ever built. Every scroll, every notification, every video that starts before the last one ends, your brain took notes on all of it, and quietly, gradually, without anyone pointing at it, the threshold moved. So now, anything below that level doesn't register as calm, it registers as nothing. Silence feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels wrong. One thing at a time feels almost unbearable. Not because those things changed, because your brain's sense of normal did. Now here's the part that I think matters most, and it took me a while to see it clearly. Boredom isn't the problem. Boredom is the signal. That restless, itchy, something is missing feeling. Your brain isn't telling you that you need stimulation. It's telling you that your threshold has drifted so far from stillness that stillness now feels like a malfunction. Think about what that actually means. Neutral feels broken. Not because neutral is broken, because the reference point moved. That's not weakness, that's not a lack of discipline. That's just what happens when a learning system spends years in a loud environment. It forgets what quiet sounds like, and then when quiet arrives, it panics. Here's the part nobody talks about. Every time you escape boredom the moment it arrives, you're not solving the problem, you're training it to get worse. Because your brain is always learning. And every time your hand reaches for the phone the moment silence hits, your brain registers something. Silence is a threat, something to be solved, something to escape. And it adjusts, raises the threshold a little higher, makes the next moment of stillness feel even more unbearable than the last. So the escape creates the sensitivity, and the sensitivity makes the escape feel necessary. You're not avoiding boredom, you're teaching your brain to need to. So what actually changes this? Not a 2-hour meditation, not a weekend retreat, not anything you have to force yourself through. Just this. The next time that pull happens, that automatic reach, pause. 10 seconds. Not to fight it, not to prove anything, not to be impressive, just to stay in the uncomfortable space for 10 seconds longer than usual. Because here's what happens in those 10 seconds. The discomfort doesn't build the way you expect it to. It peaks, and then it softens. Not into peace, not into some transformed state, just into something slightly more survivable than it was a moment ago. And your brain notices that. It files it away. Silence didn't kill me. Stillness was tolerable. Nothing happening didn't mean something was wrong. That's the update. Small, quiet, easy to miss, but it's real, and it compounds. The strange thing is, this used to be default. Sitting with nothing wasn't a skill, it was just what happened between moments. Waiting for something,
lying in bed, sitting somewhere with no particular reason to be anywhere else. Those gaps existed, and minds moved through them without needing an exit. Now, every gap has been filled, by design, and we forgot that the gaps were ever doing anything useful. There's nothing wrong with you for reaching for your phone. Given the years of it, given the way it was all built, given what your brain learned from all of it, it would be strange if you didn't. But that moment, the one where your hand almost moves and then doesn't, that 10-second pause, that's where something starts to shift. Not all at once, not dramatically, just a small piece of evidence your brain is quietly collecting, that quiet is possible, that nothing happening doesn't mean something is broken, that your mind doesn't always need somewhere to go. There's something underneath this I haven't talked about yet. It's not about boredom exactly. It's about how your brain decides what's worth paying attention to before you even consciously choose. That mechanism is running constantly, and once you see how it works, everything we've talked about so far starts to fit together differently. That's the next one.